Good morning. It's Wednesday, April 20th, 2022. My name is Terry Morgan. We are here to practice Xingyi's 12 Animals, linking form. Excuse me. I have to remember to put all that in because there are multiple forms. There are 12 animal forms, 12 distinct animal forms, and there are the 5 elements, as well as the 5 elements linking form. I just want to mention that because it came to my attention that as people are learning, I'm real world examples, right? As people are learning, they don't understand necessarily what they're looking at. You're learning, right? How do you know until it's right? All right, so that's the explanation. I appreciate you being here this morning. Thank you. We're going to work on a little bit more of this step-by-step analysis, and I'm going to continue with the series that we've been working on. Not really, except for that very last move to start dragging. I'm not doing the jumps today. All right. I have a general outline. different topic. Hang on a second. All right, I have a general outline for what's coming next. I mentioned yesterday and previously that give or take towards the middle, end of May perhaps, I'm going to make some changes to the format. I'm going to do some things a little bit differently. And what I'm hoping is that that's going to increase both my ability to create more material and the ability of those who wish to learn to be able to take in that material and learn it better. So part of that will be speeding up what I'm doing in this class. I mentioned that before, and this segment that we're working on is just that. And then looking at how I may transition both this class and our Qigong classes to something that could be a little bit more informative, as well as continuing the practice that we have. A little more explanation in parts, a little more practice in parts. It's the same idea. I'm still going back to that same idea, where there are those times that the expectation is we're going to be doing a lot more movement, and there are those times where the expectation is this is more my being able to understand the movement, and then adding in this is the go behind, this is the concept, this is the way that we think about this art and this particular movement. Right? That focus and increased depth is something that I definitely want to add. So I've been doing some updates. I told you I was doing some updates to the website. I did a lot of updates to the website. You can go take a look. Alright, so I have the breadth. We've got these classes and these classes and these classes at this level, right? So I've got some beginner level things, and I've got some little bit more advanced level things, and I've got some little bit more advanced level things, and I've got a couple more levels that I'm still going to go, and I need to get started with those. That is much more of the explanation of what's the difference between this move and that move. Just like I did yesterday, showing here's the difference between what this looks like if I'm using my shoulders and keeping my waist and my hips relatively still. And what's it look like if I'm moving with everything engaged? Those differences give us the opportunity to do them. Have I ever seen somebody do that? Maybe you have. You haven't seen me do it until yesterday. Hi. So, that idea that there are things that I haven't covered yet that are much more about, and I'm going to use what I've just done on my website and what I've been, it's been that way for years, and it just finally came together. So I have this idea: study, practice, refinement. First, we have to study something. You have to learn it. You can't refine it until you learn it. That's the lesson I gave about the gentleman who wants to walk in the advanced store. I don't want to learn any of that. I'm gonna go to the advanced class. You don't get there. There is no. It's the process that gets you there. That's how you become advanced. You go through the process. All right, that idea. Study. Gotta learn something. Practice. What am I doing? Right here, we're practicing. This is a combination of study, practice, and that refinement that I'm getting to. Practice. Get up and do something. Sit down and do something. Pick one. But practice is the only way you get there. Understanding what you're doing is essential, but you have to actually do it. You have to do it. It has to be here. It can't be just here. Right? The third is refinement. Study, practice, refinement. Do it again. As Professor Liu used to say, that was his favorite English phrase. Do it again. It's true. That's the way we refine our movement. That's the way we find out what we're actually doing. And keep doing it or make changes to it. We refine it. We develop it further. We know what we're doing. We've studied it. We've practiced it. And now we're going to go back and we're going to do it again so that we refine it even more. And each time we go back and refine it a little bit more, there's something else that we discover. There's something more that we discover. That's been my experience for 40 years. Every time I go back and do it again, there's something else that I find that I wasn't paying attention to, or that I hadn't paid attention to, or that light bulb comes on and there's all of a sudden that connection between this thing over here and that thing over there is clear and apparent, and well, of course it is. That realization, for me, it still happens. 40 years, and it still happens. Paying attention to it, allowing that to happen. Opening the mind during practice so that it can happen. It's one of the things that I really want to encourage. I'm going to put my coffee down. We're going to start moving, and we're going to pay attention to this ending piece today in a couple of different levels. The first one Give previews, right? We want previews. The first level that we're going to pay attention to is the obvious, the physical movement. Here's the direction, here's where we're going, here's what we're doing, here's what the changes look like. Yeah, I just did it. I did. That's the second part that we're going to pay attention to today. Feet out, shoulder width apart, stand straight, pull up through the crown of the head. Open the arms. And hand circle to the front. Back around to both sides. Up along the center line. Reach out. Bend the knees, bend the hips. Roll up through the back. Extend up. Reach out. Pay attention to opening the lower back. Pull up through the center. Fingertips extend up. Elbows drop down. Wrists, hands return to your sides. And relax. Santee Bull, 45 seconds. Right foot back, left foot front. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, and stop there. Sink and change sides. Ready? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 4, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, and sink, and come on up. Alright, relax for a second. There's a couple of points that I'm going to mention briefly. I don't know how clear it is. I have to go back and look. There's a couple of little adjustments that I made, and this is part of today's lesson, is those little bitty tiny movements that give us the source. This is lower dantian, the source of the movement. As we move inside, we drive the movement outside. I just did, yeah, I did. You saw my hand move. You did the little curly Q thing? I did that on purpose. Yes, I did. I did. And I didn't move the other hand because it's got my coffee cup in it, and I don't want to spill it on my nice sweater here. Nice yellow sweater. Alright? So, this idea that we start inwardly and extend outward carries through everything that we do. So this paying attention to the outward movement, we must do that. There's no option about that. We have to do that. And we have to know how the body moves, what the mechanics are, as well as what the physical energy is and can be. That internal energy, that internal Nagel, internal workmanship, uses, it's a mutual sharing there, uses that physical movement to carry the energy through. Where does that energy come from? Lower Tantien. And the intent behind the move. That idea. The idea that we have in mind, what we're thinking about as we're moving, the intent, what we want to accomplish, how we want to move, the goal of the movement. It's my goal to apply this movement in a self-defense situation, and my intent is going to be very different than if my idea, my goal, is to teach the movement and help a student understand how to use it. Same movement, same idea. The outward appearance, very different. Let's get started. Alright, so yesterday I talked a lot about the opening move, and I showed the difference in the opening move. So here's my shoulders, right? Not moving my waist, here's shoulders. There is part of that effort and energy that still comes through. It needs to be there. That isn't, let me say this again, a little bit differently. Physical movement over here. This is what the body is doing. This is what your physical body is doing. This is the movement. This is how we drive that movement with the physical body. These are the muscles that are engaged. This is how much physical force we use. This is how much physical energy we use. Physical. Breath work. How integrated, because it should be integrated, how integrated is the breath with what you're doing over here? Physical breath integrated with the movement. Physical breath. Your internal breath. Hey, right next to each other. Chi. That breath, because it's not energy. Energy is different. It's a different concept. It's a different jing, busha, qi. Shanye busha qi. Jing shanye busha qi. Qi shi qi. That's my that's my rant in Chinese. The difference between these concepts matters. Alright? Qi, the internal breath, that sense of warmth, that sense of vitality in a way that flows through the physical body, your qi. Jing, over here. Keep going, yeah, keep going. Jing, this energy, not the physical kinetic energy that's over here. This is over here, right? It's different. That animating energy. That idea that I have this intrinsic energy in my body, I have this intrinsic energy that comes through my intent, mind, and we're going to keep going. Intent, mind, spirit. This combination takes practice. It's not instant, it's not overnight, it's not, oh, she just outlined this for me and now I can go through all the steps. No. Study. Practice. The segment that we've been working on, right here, come back, sit through, turn around. Alright, that ending was wrong, by the way. This whole segment is, and I was mentioning at the beginning, it's that oh, now we're having a big bite. It's that we're not having appetizers anymore. This is part of the meal. This is this idea that we put all of these things together. We're going to work on this. We're going to do it again. Put all of these forms together in a set gives us a dynamic of movement that we would not have otherwise. Learning the form teaches us how it works. Not me. It's there in form. Just have to see it. Let's do it again. I'm trying to get it right this time. Fingertips down. Alright, that was correct. The segment, this ending segment here, from the 5 elements linking form. Bong chuan, step back, hung chuan, step in, bong chuan, down, up, down, pao chuan, slice, pi chuan. All of that is part of, big part of, the 5 elements linking form. Alright? As I said yesterday, I'm not going to cover it in detail because I already did that. And because the idea for this session is to pay more attention to those things that I haven't covered and how we're going to connect this with what comes next. Because right now, we're just about a third of the way through this form. There are some repetitions. There are some things that are a little more isolated movement. So instead of swallow flies through the forest, we're here. Swallow flies through the forest. We're here. We have 1 and 2 and 3 up. Swallow skims the water. There's 3 things we're doing here. I'm going to do this 3 times. I'm going to do that once. That idea is also carried through in the other moves. All right, so the idea that I'm going to speed this up. All right, that's why I'm Let's work on the first part. Pay attention to the fundamentals, and then we can move faster. It, in fact, does work that way. Another sip of coffee here. The stronger your fundamentals, the easier it is for you to learn another movement, to learn the next movement, to pick up another sequence. I'll call it back to my dance training. Every day, 5 days a week, I went to class. We had basic exercises, a basic bar, ballet class. I'm going to ballet class. We're going to have a bar. Everybody works the bar. Different combination that we're going to work every time. Same movement. Right? We have I'll do real simple. Right? Ballet first. Arms open. I'm going to take this arm up because it's going to be easier for me to stand here while I do this. And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. Take it back. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. And bring it back inside. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. Alright? No, I'm not. That leg hurts. I'm not doing that. Alright, now, different combination. And a 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. Same movement, different combination. We have to learn to follow that every day. This was really simple. It was a 3-hour class. It was not as simple as this, okay? That's the idea. Each of the movements that we are working on right now, Xingyi, not ballet, Xingyi. Each movement gives us the opportunity to be able to work with it in different combinations. That's what the forms teach us. That's what Miss Shirley and Miss Tanya taught. Here's how you put this together. That's what these forms teach us. Here's how you put it together. Now, I had the good fortune to learn from someone who's really, really good at this. And he wasn't the one who invented it. He learned it from his teacher. Who learned it from his teacher? Who may have been the one that invented it. Alright? This particular series, right? This particular set, this particular method, there are at least 3 major Xingyi schools, and the way that the same movements are done is going to be a little bit different. That's the lineage, that's the method, I'm going to use dance again. In dance, there's a famous choreographer, George Balanchine. He used forms and methods from classical dance in what appeared to be slightly odd and maybe uncomfortable positions, which is exactly what he was trying to do with his art. All the choreographers use the fundamentals of movement, fundamentals from dance, to create their work. In martial arts, those fundamentals come from self-defense, and in Xingyi, we're animals, animals. How do animals interact? How does the natural world show us what this or that movement might be? A lot of the early martial arts came from somebody watching an animal and trying to figure out how to replicate those movements so that they could defeat their opponent, so that they wouldn't get defeated. All right? One more time. I'm here. Step through. Turn. Through. Over. Step back. Step in. Step back. In. Down. Up. Down. Step through. Slice. Following that series, right? This is part of that. What am I doing? Where am I going? I'm going to slow this way down in just a second. What am I doing? Where am I going? How does this movement connect with that movement? And how does that flow? How does that flow? Not how do I get from here to there? How do I get from here to there? Or how do I get from here to there? I still got here, but there's a little something in the middle. That internal work, we're going to work on coming up next. Right now, pay attention to that flow. I'm going to go real slow. And I'm going to step back up here a little bit. There we go. Where's the flow of movement? All right? You do that. All right, this is the internal work. That's it. Comes from here. And it's more about thinking than doing. Right? That connection the mind, what I intend to do, what my thought process, what I'm thinking, all of that needs to be there. The connection that I'm talking about right now, the connection that we're trying to work on right now, is this inner connection that starts the movement, the origin. It's not, I've talked about it, it's not my hands that start, my hands don't start anything. My hands are the result. Whatever's out here is the result. It's here. And lower tiny hand. Right here. Okay. Had to move my hand out of the way for a second. Alright, right here. Lower tiny hand. That I just turned inside, extended the hand. Open to both sides. Raise the hands. This concept, this idea, that's the first part. Right? Being able, this is part of this, we're going to do this right now. But with the section that we've just been working on, I'm going to show you first externally, and then we're going to work on the internal. This idea that we take the center, focus on it, and use it to drive the movement. Little tiny movement. It's not easy. I will give you that. It's not easy. Lower back needs to be open. The Ming Men in the lower back, the gate in the lower back needs to be open. The lower Tantian needs to be the focus. Alright, as we're moving, hang on. So, we're here. I just did all of that without really thinking about how to move physically. I was paying attention to what do I need to turn to drive this movement, to drive that movement, to move this, to move, what do I need to do to travel through space, and how do I get there? This way, and that way. Right? Let's do that one time. Pay attention to this idea that the lower dantian drives. Pay attention to the movement. This is an external movement. Split, split, come around, and come over. Pay attention to how the waist and the lower dantian work through the physical movement. Open, ready, and to the right, to the left. One more time. Open, to the right, to the left. All right. that was it. One more time. Watch, and we're going to do this together. And I'll turn around so so the movement's going in the same direction at the same time. All right, I'm here. Open. Come on. One more. Open. Start to this side. Open. Tiger. Do it again. Tiger. One more time. From here. Again. One more time. Once more. All of that, and I didn't move very much. That internal work, that ability to reach inside, grab a hold of the source of the movement and your internal energy, your internal chi, internal breath. That ability comes from opening the physical body through practice, right? If you're tense, if you're tight, if you can't relax your shoulders, there's nothing going to flow through. My shoulders like this, I can get my arms to go maybe. My arm's not going to go very far, right? I can't do much. Oh, well, now I can. All kinds of things that I couldn't have done if my shoulders weren't cooperating with me. That loosening of the body so that the energy, the body energy can flow through, gives us the ability to get the breath to flow through, gives us the ability to get the chi to flow, gives us the ability to get the internal energy to flow. All of those things that we want to bring to the movement depend on getting the physical body ready to do that. It's not an instant, all of a sudden, okay, we can do this today. It's practice. The more open the physical body is during practice, open, relaxed, supple, using the natural alignment of the body. So everything pulls into the most natural position possible. Muscles and tendons wrap to the bone. Natural movement. As fluid as possible. Opening the joints. Connecting the breath so that there's no tension in the movement. Unless we want to put it there. Right? I'm going to say this a little bit different way. There's always going to be some tension in the movement. the outward appearance. No. Not unless that's what's wanted. Okay? So, for example, in Xingyi, we want to bring strength, we want to bring force, we want to bring all of it into each movement. In Tai Chi, there's still an ebb and flow. There has to be, because you can't be 100% on. You always have, there's off and on. You have to have. As I sit back here to come out here, there's that moment. I can use this, but I'm not going to do it right now. I could do something with this. I could. I could. I could. But I'm not doing that right now. What I'm thinking is here. This sets me up to extend here. If I wanted to use this, my setup is here. It's different. That understanding of how the movement works, what's possible, and what am I doing here, makes all the difference in how we flow through that move. Each time we pay attention to that flow, we gain the ability to make adjustments as we're moving. This, I'll go back through a couple more times. This idea that we pay attention to the sequence and form, to understand how the movements connect with each other and how the dynamic that's built into the form works. What can this form teach us about movement? Step up, right side. Back, step through, turn, keep going. And Feng Chuan, step back, step in. What did the transition What did that teach you about movement? What did that teach you about how this movement connects to that movement? Just those two. One more time. From here. Shift. Step through. That was it. That was a little bit more. That was a little bit less. This connection. What am I doing here? And how does that express itself out here? Physical movement, internal breath, Physical movement, physical breath, internal breath, the whole litany. How that connects through so that every movement, everything you do, is driven from that small movement now that's a little harder in the lower dantian. I did that on purpose. I did. I didn't actually intend to be at that harder, but that's what happened, so I'm gonna call it out. I can't. I don't know that I'm going to teach this particular class again, so I'm going to keep beating on this for a second. I can't stress strongly enough this idea behind that we use that. All of this comes from and is driven from the lower dantian. That's where we initiate internal arts. This is where we're going to initiate everything. Alright? As that movement extends, as we bring that movement out, as we open to complete whatever that movement is. Right? That driver needs to be there. We don't get to it by doing flutters with the hands. We don't get to it by trying. We get to it by allowing it to happen. We get to it by working on opening the physical body, allowing the mind to work with each movement. It's that coordinated part. Connect the movement, connect the breath, connect the mind, connect the chi. That coordination gives us the next step. With that, we can start to refine the movement. So that instead of, now I'm going to use the same movement, instead of, here's beginner level, I'm going to do this, alright? Beginner level. This, tiger, and step back, bong chuan. Beginner level. I'm a beginner. And I'm gonna talk through this, right? I'm a beginner. I'm just learning. Okay, now, where do I put my feet? Alright, feet are here. Hands are here. Hands with the feet, elbows with the knees. Alright, don't open too far. Alright, now I gotta shift my weight, step out with the right, and the hands go forward. And then I gotta make sure I've got my weight right, so I can step again, up, and then out to the left, and my hands come over. Now I gotta shift, and step up, and close for bong chuan. Okay, I got it. A little bit more advanced level. The physical movements, not so much a problem. All right, and step back, and there. Right? That's intermediate. I know my steps. I know where I'm supposed to go. I can do the movement. It's relatively smooth. Looks nice. more advanced. I have some intent. Little internal workmanship. The emphasis is clear. One more. Hey, take me a second here. That's a little more advanced. The idea behind each one, as I did it, is different. What I'm able to bring to each movement is different. The combination of skills that I can bring to an individual movement depends on whether or not I practiced it, whether or not I understand what's going on underneath. And whether or not I've developed the skill to make that connection. One more time, I'm going to go real slow. This flow through the movement for this entire series. Take it easy. Pay attention to the direction of movement. Pay attention to the flow. And think about. Don't necessarily work on it right this minute. You're going to work on it again another time. Think about how that flow translates to what you're doing in the waist and the lower dantian. Right side. Yeah, wait a minute. Step back. Right side. Fingertips down and step back. Follow the flow. Where's the flow in the movement? How do the steps connect with each other? And how do they show you how the movements can be connected? I'm going to stop here for today. We're going to work on the next part of the 12 Animals linking form next week. Dragon. And there's a jump, and I'm going to work on that a little bit. I may step through it initially, but we're going to work on that next week. Tomorrow we have Qigong, basic sets, advanced sets on Friday. I hope you'll join me. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it.